What's going on, everybody? Serial Entrepreneur here for another episode for you YouTube followers. And guess what? Today we're going to talk about something super serious: entrepreneurs and dating. Are you ready? Here it comes. Alright guys, so like I mentioned in the little intro there, we're going to quickly talk about entrepreneurship and dating, or being an entrepreneur and being in the dating world at the same time. Which, if you guys are an entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it can definitely be a struggle. Alright, so we're going to quickly talk about that. And the reason why I wanted to do this topic was because I've seen it happen, okay? Number one, it's happened to me. I've made these mistakes before myself, and I think a lot of people, if not everybody, has made this mistake before. And why? We all want that connection. We all want to feel that connection with someone else, to be appreciated and loved and cared for by someone else. But at the same time, we want our success, we want our money, we want our business to do well, and it both require a lot of time and effort. And if not managed properly, both will fail, or one will fail and the other will be successful. So what I wanted to quickly talk about was my experience with dating, some things you should consider, and just what you need to be aware of if you're going to try this entrepreneurship road and actually try dating someone at the same time. All right, so obviously things are they're always different. The amount of time you've been dating someone, whether you're married or not, all of this is different. And married isn't dating, but I guess relationship wise, everybody's in a different stage. So there's just some things that may apply to you, may not, but in a general sense, with regards to dating, all of these things are things that I've seen happen myself. They've happened to me, some of them. So I just wanted to bring these up and talk with you guys about it. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. But if you guys like this topic and you want to see a little more about, just lifestyle stuff, entrepreneurship, throw a like on this video, throw a comment in the comment section below, and let me know some of the things that you could relate to with this video after we go through these points. So first and foremost, the first thing I want to talk about is people tend to let their relationship harm their success or their goals, which to me really blows my mind sometimes, because I've seen situations where it's a person who's been talking to a person for a month and they're already willing to do whatever that person wants. They'll abandon their goals. They'll stop doing the things that they were doing on a regular basis. And now they're putting, a good 20% of their time, 30% of their time into this person that they just started talking to. And that's a big issue, because I get you want to have that relationship. You like the girl or you like the boy and they like you back, and that feels great. But what's more important to you right now? What's your priority? Because here's the thing, you can't have everything at once. I was actually talking to a kid last night, and we were talking about how he has to prioritize his schedule and the things he does on a daily basis to get some results, right? So he was telling me I asked him, I said, what are your priorities? He said, my business, my finances, and my health. And I said, okay. And I noticed from, because I get involved with my students, but I noticed that he does a lot of working out. So I was like, well, person, you might want to consider, just for now, taking some time away from your workout routine and your health. Because that's what he was saying. And I was, if you really are focused on getting success for your business and your finances, then you'll pull some time away from that and you'll put it into the business side of it. Why would you do that? Because when you get more money, when you get more freedom because of your business, you're able to spend more time doing the things that you actually care about. That's the whole point. So you can't always prioritize things based on what you want right now. Entrepreneurs, and this is what we're really bad at, is thinking long term, because we see this really short term idea that we want to fulfill right now, right? We're very impatient usually. Well, and that's okay, but at the same time, you have to be aware that there is always a bigger picture. So that being said, you shouldn't just jump into any type of thing like that and just completely throw all of your time that you're prioritizing elsewhere into something new that you just brought on. Whenever you bring something new into your life, you should always slowly ease into it and stop. too many people try to rush, and that's where they end up making mistakes and things fail. Take your time, learn the best way to do it, and then move forward slowly. But the other side of it is, like I'm saying, people want all this success, right? But then they're not willing to compromise and do the things that they need to do, prioritize their life by doing the things that they need to do to get the work done that they need to get done to make the money that they want to make, right? So, like, that's the thing. I'll give you an example, guys. I actually did this myself. I'm not afraid to admit it now. This was a long time ago, but I was in a very, very long committed relationship with a girl back in college, and we almost got engaged and all kinds of other stuff. But she just wasn't a nice person. She wasn't a good person, and I'm over that now. But it's just back then I was so blinded by being in love and that I love this person. And really, now that I'm a little older, I've kind of analyzed things. I realized it wasn't love. It was really just I think it was a mixture of codependency, which I'm going to talk about later because I think everyone suffers from that at some point. And it was a mixture of codependency and being comfortable with knowing what I was going to get, right? People get comfortable in a relationship and they just accept it because they're okay with what's going on and they don't want to change. They don't want to go out back into the single world and blah, blah. Dude, the single world is awesome. You get all of this time to focus on yourself, to build, like, that's what I've been doing for the past year and a half, 2 years. I've just been focusing on myself, building my business, making sure that everything's going, because you want to know what I know? I know that when I'm successful, when I have money, that's not going to be an issue. Finding someone that wants to be with me is not going to be an issue. And I'm not saying I'm looking for a gold digger, but I'm saying when you have your finances set up and everything's in place, it's not hard to figure out, it's not hard to put time into dating and to actually put the effort that needs to go into a proper relationship, so that way it's a successful relationship. Who wants a crappy relationship, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on the first point. Now, number 2, is it the right time for you? Okay, and when is the right time? So is it the right time for you is a decision you have to make, but I always revert back to and look at, what are my finances like? What is my day-to-day life like? Am I able to commit real time and effort and money to this person to actually go on a date with them on a regular basis? Because here's the thing, guys. We all know you can't just take a person on a date or go out with a person on a date and then you'll see them in 2 months and go on your second date. That's not dating. That's not even close. I mean, some people do that. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right. But that's not how it works. And you guys know that. So when's the right time? You really have to be able to, number 1, afford it. Put the time. No, I guess most importantly is the time. Sorry, guys and girls. Most importantly is the time. Number 2 is going to be, can you afford it? Number 3 is, how is the rest of your life looking? Is your work life okay? Is your debt situation okay? Do you have kids that you need to worry about? There's all kinds of factors that play into this kind of stuff, but people just rush into it because they like someone and, maybe they haven't been in a relationship for a while, so they haven't had someone like them in a while. Like, that's great and all. Like, I totally get you feel the need for compassion and for other people to want you and the attention and appreciation. But again, is it worth it right now? Because that is a temporary feeling. This feeling of fulfillment from a relationship doesn't sit through consistently. But when you have that debt lingering over you, and when you don't have a steady stream of revenue, when you have that crappy job lingering over you, you have that feeling every day. You deal with it on a regular basis. And not that person isn't going to be there on a regular basis, but that is something that weighs down on you and keeps you from doing everything you want to do in life. So you need to prioritize. When is the right time? The right time is when you're, financially secure, able to put in the time, able to put in the effort that it takes, and then actually be there for that person. All right, guys? Let's not, don't get in a relationship if you're not ready. Seriously, and I know what happens. Let's be real, guys and girls, because girls do this too. People play the game. I know you guys know this. People play the game, and they will tell you up and down until they're blue in the face, I like you, I want to be in a relationship with you, but they'll never commit. You guys are in that little situation, need to cut that right now. If they're not dating you and you've been with them for 4 months, or if they're not your boyfriend and you've been with them for 4 months, or girlfriend, You need to cut them off. Like, they're not interested in you. They're using you for something. Okay? So seriously, be aware of your situation. Stop living in denial because you think that you love this person, but this person, like, I was talking to this girl the other day who her friend is like talking to this guy that they've been talking for over a year, and they've never had any sexual relations. They've never been boyfriend, girlfriend, which, the first part, whatever, that's their choice, but they're still not boyfriend and girlfriend after a year and a half. What's the deal there? There's so many instances, and I know you guys can relate to this because you probably have friends or yourself that's going through the same thing. You have to be aware of these things and then take that action. Be bold and stand up for yourself. Make sure that you're not the one getting screwed over, and don't try and screw anybody over. I'm just saying, don't let yourself get screwed over, because I watch people do it on a regular basis. All right? Next point is going to be, is your significant other or the person that you're interested in or talking to, dating, in a relationship with, whatever, are they fully supportive and understanding of what you're trying to do? Entrepreneurship life is tolling. It's hard. It has long hours in the beginning. The key word there, or phrase, in the beginning, okay? Has long hours. You have to dedicate yourself. They're going to feel like they're being left out or, just forgotten. They're not going to feel appreciated or like you love them anymore. This happens a lot with with entrepreneurs and in the entrepreneurship world. But that's why it's important to be upfront, have conversations, actually have a relationship. Really, that's what it is. If you can't converse with your significant other about things that are going on in your life and what they should expect, and if they can't be understanding of that, then it's maybe not the best idea for you. This is something that you want, and you want them too, but if they're not going to accept your dreams and you're accepting their dreams and what they want to do, well, where's the fairness in that, right? They should be just as accepting of what you want to do with your life as you are with what they want to do in their life. Even when people doubt you, even when their parents don't, necessarily agree with what you're doing, because I had that before, it is, there's so many reasons why that you have to make sure that you have this conversation with them and make sure it's upfront and say, look, person I am an entrepreneur. I'm working on my business. I want to be successful one day. This is super important to me. It's something that I definitely have always wanted to do. And the reason why I want to do it is because for me, I watched my parents grow up and struggle because they had kids young and weren't financially secure and didn't have a steady, basically asset, is what I was taught by one of my mentors. They didn't have an asset that they were building, and increasing the wealth with. So that led to a lot of issues, and that's why my parents are divorced now, So, that's a lot of the reasoning why I wanted to do my own thing, be successful, other than the time freedom. I'm kind of independent. I like to do things on my own and figure things out on my own. But, other than that, guys, it really comes down to just having a conversation with them and making sure that they understand what you're getting into. And if they're not okay with that, just cut it off there. You have to, if they don't understand that, they're not for you. There are way too many people out there, and I know you might not believe it. Maybe you haven't dated too much. Maybe you've had a crap situation, like you've never had a girlfriend or boyfriend that's been good to you. Trust me, I've heard those stories before, but it's okay. There's more people out there, and I guarantee you that when you get your shit together, you're going to have a lot more people around you that want to be around you, not just because you're money, but they can see the drive, they can see the success on you, and they want to be around you. All right? So that's number 3. And then the last part, which I promised you I'd talk about in the beginning, is going to be codependency. And this is a big thing, okay? This is really, really big because a lot of people get caught up in this. Like I said, got caught up in it, I think, a little bit with my last relationship. I haven't been in a relationship since or had a girlfriend since. I dedicated myself to my business, my work, and I wanted to make sure I was secure there first. So I haven't had a girlfriend since. But when I was in that relationship, there was some codependency on both sides of the relationship. That I was comfortable with where I was at. I knew her for, over 5 years or 4 years, whatever it was at that time. And, it's just, I didn't want to move on from it. And that's a crazy and scary trap to get caught in because you know that it's not good, but you don't want to leave that person, or you depend on their attention, their affection. You depend on them to be there for you all the time. Otherwise, you are miserable and depressed and you can't live your life. I I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I'm not that type of person. That's why I say, I had a little bit of codependency, but whenever things would get bad, again, I'm also very independent, so I could go and do my own thing and be okay. She, on the other hand, could not. She definitely was completely codependent and made that very difficult for me to do what I wanted to do with my career, with what I wanted to do elsewhere in life. Like if I wanted to go do anything, it felt like she had to come with me sometimes, or else she would feel left out. And there was a period of time when we went through our relationship where she felt like I wasn't giving her enough time, but we were still doing basically the exact same thing we had always been doing, as far as, how much we were hanging out and seeing each other and doing things together, communicating, all that stuff. In my eyes and in a lot of my friends' eyes and, our mutual friends' eyes, neither of us really seemed any different. She just felt like I was putting time into my business and that wasn't her time, so we weren't able to hang out. And that kind of made it hard for her, and then we went through this whole, shit show basically because of that. So if you're not understanding what codependency is, basically it just means that they rely on you for everything. They need you there, and if you're not there, they're miserable, depressed, and basically useless. This is a scary trap, guys. Again, you have to make sure that you're not relying on someone. If you're not used to, or if you get caught up in this trap, or you realize that you're actually becoming maybe a little codependent on a person, that's when you need to talk to that person and say, look, I care about you. You know that I care about you. I don't want to break up with you, but I think we need to start doing some things independently because I feel like we're doing a little too much together, and I feel like that's making you rely on me for everything. And I don't want you to feel like you have to rely on me, and I don't want to feel like I have to rely on you to be happy. You should be happy whether or not I'm around, and I should be happy whether or not you're around. So that's what codependency is, and it's so easy to get caught up into, and it's so hard to get out of. So it's something that you have to be aware of before you go into a relationship and before you start dating and before you start your entrepreneurship journey, because you can't go into something like that with codependency being a big factor and expect to see a lot of results or success quickly. That's why I've been able to have success, and that's why I'm able to put out so much content and work so hard, is because I don't have anybody who depends on me or relies on me for their happiness. I make my own happiness, and that's it. I do what I need to do to get my shit done, and then I'm moving forward in my career, my life, and I'm getting to where I want to be. I'm not there yet, but in the next few years, I'm going to be set. So that's what I'm working on now, and that's what you guys have to understand is if you want this life, if you want to be successful, if you want to be an entrepreneur that works for yourself for the rest of your life, or really get that work-life freedom, then all you have to do is stop getting caught up in the trap of dating. And I'm not saying to stop dating. I'm saying that if you are not ready, if it is not the time for you, put it off. Do something important, get a freaking hobby, and do something that's going to better you as a person. Personal development, self-development. There's too much information out there for you to utilize that can teach you better ways to do things, better ways to live your life. So that's my take on entrepreneurs and dating. I hope this was super awesome for you guys. I hope you could relate to it. I'm sure all of you can in some way because we've all been through these struggles. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. If you haven't checked me out yet, check out my social media links. They're going to be right here so that way you can follow me, subscribe, and message me if you want to get in touch with me, ask me questions, stuff like that. Again, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get more updates on stuff like this, entrepreneurship talks, digital marketing, Bitcoin, investing, whatever. We're doing it all right here at Serial Entrepreneur Academy. Also, just make sure, one more time, we have a podcast that we just released. It's on iTunes and SoundCloud. The links for that will be below, plus our free Facebook ads training. There's tons of links below. Just check them all out. Tools, all kinds of stuff down there that you guys can use. But until next time, guys, I'm getting out of here. Serial Entrepreneur out. Ready to start living the six-figure, work wherever, be your own boss lifestyle? Well, at Serial Entrepreneur Academy, we'll teach you how to use a laptop and internet to start your own social media and digital marketing agency. Get started with our free Facebook ads training. Links in the description below, guys. See you in the course. Serial Entrepreneur out.